Hello and welcome back to the Tai Chi instructional series. In this video we're going to be covering the basic footwork or stepping in the Yang Style Tai Chi. Now I was requested by my students to wear shorts for this specific video so you could get a better view of how my knees and ankles work. However, I would still highly recommend that you use or you're wearing longer, flowing, loose-fitting pants for doing your Tai Chi practice, because that does sort of dictate or narrate and guide how your body moves and flows through these different moves. So today, we're going to do some shorts. To start with, make sure that you have done a warm-up first, and there is a Tai Chi warm-up video that is available for you to watch and participate in. After you make sure that you're warmed up, we're going to be just going through just the leg work in the basic Tai Chi foundations today. Before we even get into the actual stepping, I like to do an activity. As you begin today's work, let's practice by just walking in some small circles. If you're in your living room or if you're outside or wherever you're at, just start walking at your normal pace in small circles. And as you begin to do that, I would invite you to draw your attention down into your lower half of your body. So just take mental note of how your hips, your knees, your ankles, your feet are feeling, how those different muscles and bones are moving to keep you moving, to keep you upright, to keep you stable and balanced. And then let's pretend that we're doing like a super slow motion sports replay here, and turn that dial on your speed down to about 50%. So you're still moving at all times, still walking. But as you're going slower here, this does a couple things. Number one, it draws greater attention to how you're moving. Number two, you actually have to practice a little bit more muscular stability because you're moving slower, and that provides an opportunity for you to build a little bit better balance as well. So same thing as before, draw that attention down to your legs. Feel what they're doing differently now, especially those muscles, to keep you stable as you're moving more slowly. And feel the alignment of each of those different joints. So how do your knees, your ankles, your hips, how do those all have to line up to keep you balanced at all times? And finally, in this exercise, we're going to crank down that speed even lower to about 1%. So still moving here at all times. But again, feel what's happening to your legs, those muscles, those bones, as you shift your weight from one foot to the other. Feel what your body has to do to still maintain that stability and balance at all times. Notice which part of your foot is hitting the ground first and second. For me, I have my heel down first, and then I slowly roll through the rest of my foot. And finally, keeping that same slow motion, we're going to now move backwards. Still at about 1% speed here. But now just notice what your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips have to do differently to still maintain that balance and stability but now going in the opposite direction. Notice which part of your feet hits the ground first this time. For me, it's my toes, and then I roll back my weight onto the balls, the arches, and then finally the heels of my feet. And then we'll go forward again, still at that nice 1% slow motion speed. And then we'll slowly dial that back up to 50%. Still trying to maintain that awareness. And then back to your normal walking speed. And we'll come back to the center here. Just take a moment to breathe. As we reflect on that exercise here. So now we're going to break down each of the moves in this Tai Chi stepping. In our Tai Chi work, because things are moving very slowly, it does require that same stability, same control as we just practiced, but we're just going to be guiding our feet and our heels and our toes into slightly different directions, okay? And it's also important that we have that balance at all times because things are moving very slowly. So what we're gonna do first is focus on getting that left leg out. So we're going to first start our commencement. So take a nice deep breath in and out. On your next inhale, we're going to slowly bring that left foot out to about shoulder width apart. Exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to bring those arms up to about shoulder height. Exhale, pressing those palms down, slightly bending your knees. And then for this rest of this practice today, you can have the arms at your sides or behind you, whatever feels more comfortable. In our Tai Chi stepping and footwork, we almost always have our knees slightly bent at all times. So make sure you have a nice bend in your knees. Every person is different in terms of how far they bend. So for me, I go to about this distance right here. But it really depends on your own comfort level, okay? First, we're going to shift most of that weight, like 99% of that weight, onto this right leg here. I'm lifting my left foot up just to exaggerate where my weight distribution is, but in this case you can have your left toes just slightly resting on the ground. You should be able to still lift that leg up kind of like you're doing a hoe down, okay? And you should still be able to do that without falling over. So right now 100% of that weight is in my right leg here, okay? In order to do the walking or stepping forward, the first move we do is lift up that left foot and set the heel down at a 45-degree angle, okay? From there, we lunge forward over that left leg. Here you want to do a few things to check your alignment. First, make sure your knee is always behind those toes. If your knee is in front of the toes, that's going to put a lot of extra weight and stress on that knee, and that will probably feel uncomfortable. So knee behind the toes. You want to make sure that your knee, your hips, and your shoulders are pointing the same 45-degree angle as your toes here, okay? So this is called the bow stance, and it's like you're shooting a bow and arrow in this case. And we use this quite a bit in Tai Chi, okay? So this is your bow stance. Here, you should have about 70% of the weight on that front left leg, 30% weight on that back right leg. And also my right leg in this case is almost straight, mostly straight. So when I said that you should always keep your knees bent, that should be the case on the leg that has the most weight, okay? From here, in Tai Chi, it's like riding on a boat. Whatever goes forward must come back. So you're gonna rock that weight back onto your right leg now. Left toes are up. Here, I have about 70% weight on my right leg now, which is bent, and 30% weight on my left leg, which you can see is now straight. Okay? From here, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate from that hip joint just a little bit to turn those toes out, okay? And I'll make sure to get a close-up of that. But what we're doing is turning the toes out just a little bit, setting that foot back down, and then we're going to lean forward just a little bit to get that weight back on the left leg here. From here, we're going to lift up the right toes. You can tap the toes or have them rest gently on the ground for a moment, right next to your left heel, so in the center position. And then we're going to bring the right heel out at a 45-degree angle on that side. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing. So now we're going to lunge on that right foot. Again, here, make sure the knee is behind your toe. Make sure your knees, your hips, your shoulders are all now facing or pointing the same direction as your toes at the right 45-degree angle. Rock back onto that left leg again. Here you should have 70% weight on the left, 30% on the right. Right toes are up. Turn those toes out by rotating at the hip joint just a little bit before lunging forward on that right leg again. I have 70% weight here, and as I lean forward now, almost 100% weight is on that right leg. Left foot comes in. You can again tap your toes in the center, or you can leave them in the air and they still have to pass or glide through center. This time left leg comes out 45 degrees again. Lunge forward over that left leg, 70% weight, 30%. Come back. Turn out those toes. Stand on the left side. Right toes pass through center. Right heel comes out. Lunge over that right foot. Coming back. And then we'll just come back to center here. Take a breath in, exhale, and then complete this by bringing that left foot back to center. Okay, so a couple of other notes I want to go through, and then we'll do this again a few more times. Okay, so number one, let's get into this heel position first. As I lunge forward over that left leg, notice what happens to the ball, or the heel, and the toe on my right foot. As I'm lunging forward, you can see that my hips want to sort of rotate to point in the same direction as those toes. So to do that, I rotate on the ball of my foot, the ball of my right foot, so my toes are sort of pointing 45 degrees, and then let's call it 25 degrees or so. So it's still not pointing in that same forward direction. I do have to rotate a little bit, and it's just whatever position feels comfortable. Okay, so I wanted to make sure to get a close-up of my legs so you can see in a little bit more detail what my legs are doing, especially as we're turning the knees and toes in and out. Okay, so we're gonna start here on that right leg, slightly bent. Here comes the left heel out. Still weight is on that right leg here. Lunge forward. As we do that, pay attention to what's happening to my right heel here. So as I'm lunging forward, I'm pivoting on the ball of my right foot. And then here, my toes are sort of pointing out a little bit. As I lunge forward over that left leg, I pivot the ball of my foot so that my toe turns in a little bit more. So here you can see that this left toe is at 45 degrees. The right toe is not quite facing forward, not parallel, so somewhere in between those 90 degrees and 45 degrees, okay? So let's try that again. Standing on the right side, left heel out 45 degrees. Lunge over the left, pivot that ball of the right foot. Here we are, 70% weight on the left leg, 30% on that back leg. Rocking back, left toes up. And then as we shift that weight again to that left leg, we're going to pivot from that hip joint. Turn out those toes. Set that foot down. Now the weight is all on that left leg as we're leaning forward. Bring those right toes through center. Option to tap them on the ground or just leave your foot up and pass through. As we're coming out, you're going to open up that right hip so you can see the knees are turning out, facing the other 45-degree angle. Heel out this way. Weight is still all on that left leg. Lunging forward. Again, look at that again. You can see now that I'm pivoting on that back left ball of my foot to turn my toes in a little bit, okay? I'll do that one more time. Lunge forward on the right. Rock back, and then pivoting with that hip joint, opening up those toes a little bit, setting that foot down, standing on that right side. Left toes can tap center or just rest to pass through. Knee turns out or the 45-degree angle, and then we go the other way. Trying that one more time here. A little bit more fluid. So standing on that right foot, left heel out 45 degrees. Lunge over that left leg. Rocking back, toes up. Toes turn out just a little bit. Put that weight back on that left foot, left leg. Right foot passes through center, open the knees, other 45 degrees. Heel comes out. Lunge forward. Rocking back. Toes come out. Weight steps on the right leg. Left toes pass through center. Turn open that hip and the knee, heel out, and then we keep repeating from there. Okay, so let's try this again all together. Standing on that right foot, toes at your side, left heel comes out 45 degrees, lunge over the left foot, rocking back. Turn out those toes slightly, step on that left side, right foot passes through center, open up the hip and the knee, right foot, right heel out 45 degrees, lunging right, coming back, turn out those toes, stand on the right leg. Left foot comes through center, left heel out 45 degrees, lunge over left, lean back, toes out one more time, right foot passes through center, open up the knee and the hip, right heel out 45 degrees, lunge over right, coming back, turn out those toes, stand on the right, and then from here we'll take a break. Arms up, exhale, straighten up. So one place that there is a common error or a common place of challenge is when people get that left heel out or the right heel out, sometimes you might notice that as you're bringing that left heel out, you're sort of kind of rocking forward or slightly falling forward onto that heel. You don't want to do that because if you have your heel out and your leg straight, you could hurt your heel or ankle or your knee because you don't want to keep any weight on there. The other thing that indicates is you're not fully balanced. So you still want to keep all of that weight over, in this case, the right leg. So imagine that there's this straight line or this pole going through the middle of your body, down through that right hip, all the way down through that right heel. So even as that left heel comes out, you still should be able to pick it up pretty easily without a lot of effort or without losing your balance. So one activity we can do to try to just be more mindful about our heels and making sure we're still in balance is, let's pretend that we're at a bar and you just ordered this nice full glass of beer that you obviously don't want to spill. But all of a sudden, the music starts playing again, your friend runs up to you and says, "Dude, this is our song, why aren't you dancing? You gotta dance with us." I don't want to spill my beer, I do want to dance, hence the don't spill the beer dance, which you're just getting one heel in and out. So setting that heel in and out. So let's do that together. Again, pretend you're holding your beer, you don't want to spill that. Doom, 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 doom. Now let's slow down that tempo of the music just to be more aware and mindful of what our legs are doing. Doom, 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 doom. And pause there. So my left heel is out. Let's just take a moment to see what's going on with our alignment and our balance here. So first, that left heel is out in front of us, 45 degrees. You can see that it's about 18 inches or so in front of my right toes here, okay? Notice where your weight is placed as well. So as I'm pausing in this position, me personally, I can feel my right quadricep very engaged, holding a lot of that weight. So you should still be able to get that left heel in and out without spilling your beer and rocking over, right? And that means that you have to have almost all of that weight still planted firmly in that right leg. Same thing if you're gonna switch sides. So you can even practice just getting that heel in and out. So my left leg is in the stable, standing now. So you can see that my heel doesn't come out super far, okay? So what that means is if you feel like your heel is, your body weight is falling forward onto that heel, you might want to just practice or experiment with bringing in your stance. So narrowing those 2 feet. It doesn't have to be super far out. So if you're coming out to about 18 inches, you should hopefully be able to maintain better control that way. So just practice as we're doing our step work this time of playing with a narrower stance. If you do want to use a wider stance and get really low, that also means that you have to bend that standing knee even more so that you still have that weight firmly over that standing leg here, okay? Which requires a little bit more strength and flexibility, which you'll develop as you continue to practice here. So with the don't spill the beer concept in mind, let's just practice doing these moves again here. Standing on our right leg first. Left heel comes out, don't spill the beer. Lunge forward. Leaning back again, toes up. Open those toes. Stand on the left. Right foot passes through center. Right heel out, 45 degrees. Lunge forward over the right leg. Coming back. Open up those toes, standing on the right. Left foot passes through center. Left heel out, 45 degrees. Lunge left. Coming back. One more time each side. Right heel out, 45 degrees. Lunging right. Coming back. Turn out those toes. Set that foot down. Left heel out, 45 degrees. Lunging left. Coming back. And that's where we'll stop for the moment. So another challenge that I've seen or been asked about from my students is how that whole turnout works with both the toes and opening up the hips and the knee to switch to the other side here. So one thing we can do to practice this is let's pretend we're at the club again, this time a very different club at a very different decade in time, and we're going to do that twist. So Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. Now slow that down and just see what's going on here. You can see that most of that rotation is coming through that hip joint. And that hip joint is a ball or a socket, and it just kind of has the ability to sort of rotate around in any direction you want to, okay? So we're doing the same thing here, except this time instead of being on the toes and having our knee bent, we're having that heel out and that leg is straight. So do that same twist move again, this time with that heel out in front of you, and just do it nice and slow. So as you are standing on this leg and that heel comes out 45 degrees, you lunge forward, you come back, and then you do that same thing. So you just twist from that hip joint just a couple of degrees, just to open up a little bit more, and then you set that foot down, okay? Now same thing, as in this case your right leg is coming forward. Notice where my knee is pointing. So my knee is sort of pointing this direction right now as my foot comes through center. And then same thing, do the twist. So open up that knee by rotating that hip joint or hip socket, just like that. And then you can see that my knee is already pointing in the 45 degrees to the right side, and my heel comes out there. Lunge over that right side, coming back. Do the twist this time again on that right hip joint. Open up those toes just a little bit. Set the foot back down, stand on the right. Here, as my left foot is coming through center, notice where my knee is. Do that twist, open from that hip, open those knees 45 degrees, and then I simply extend my heel there. Lunging forward again. So with the twist in mind, let's practice this again. This time I'm going to add a little bit more rhythm or tempo and fluidity to this. And I'm also going to instruct on how to breathe doing your inhale and exhale, okay? So let's start together, feet together. Let's take a cleansing breath in and out through the nose first. On your next inhale, slightly bend the knees, lift up that left foot. Exhale, left foot comes to shoulder width apart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, press down. Standing on that right side first. Inhale, left heel out. Exhale, lunging forward. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, stand on the left. Right foot passes through center. Do the twist, open up those hips. Inhale, right heel out. Exhale, lunging right. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, open those toes and stand on the right. Inhale, left heel out. Exhale, lunging left. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, stand on the left last time. Inhale, right heel out. Exhale, lunging right. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, stand on the right. Let's bring both of those feet back to shoulder width apart. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, straightening those legs, lowering the arms, and bring that left foot back to center. So at this point in the video, I would encourage you to press pause, try to practice yourself for a few times, let's say between 5 to 10 times on each side. Feel free to rewind this video, look back at some of the things and the details I talked about, try again, and then we'll come back and we'll do this again, looking at the back side one more time. Okay, so let's do this one more time. This time it's not going to be a mirror image video. I'm going to turn around so that you can follow along with me, sort of facing the same way. So you're going to see my backside here. Let's just do this a few times together, starting with those feet together. Take an inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Inhale, left foot comes up. Exhale, left foot comes out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, pressing down. Standing on that right leg first. Inhale, left heel out. Exhale, lunging left. Inhale, coming back, toes up. Exhale, stand on the left. Inhale, right heel out. Exhale, lunging right. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, stand on the right. Inhale, left heel out. Exhale, lunging left. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, stand on the left last time. Inhale, right heel out. Exhale, lunging right. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, stand on the right. Bring those feet back to parallel, shoulder width apart. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, straighten up. And we'll finish by bringing that left foot back to center. So I would encourage you to continue practicing this at the beginning of each session. So what I like to do, my Tai Chi warm-up, practicing my footwork for 5 to 10 minutes until I become a lot more confident. You'll see going through this Tai Chi series that that same footwork or different portions of that are going to come up in a lot of the different forms we are working on. So keep practicing. May you have a mindful experience. Thank you very much for joining me today, and we'll see you on the next video.